Thank you, Mr Speaker. To ask the Prime Minister to make a statement on the decision of the Supreme Court and the rights of the Scottish Parliament to call for an independence referendum.
No. Mr Speaker, I am grateful to the Right Honourable Member for providing me with the opportunity to address the House on this important ruling of the Supreme Court on the issue of the competence of the Scottish Parliament to legislate for a referendum on independence. The UK Supreme Court has today determined that it is outside the powers of the Scottish Parliament to hold an independence referendum. And I respect the Court's clear and definitive ruling on this matter. The Scottish Government's Lord Advocate referred this question to the Supreme Court, which has today given its judgment. And, Mr Speaker, the UK Government's position has always been clear that it would be outside the Scottish Parliament's competence to legislate for a referendum on Scottish independence because it is a matter wholly reserved to the United Kingdom Parliament. We welcome the Court's unanimous and unequivocal ruling, which supports the United Kingdom's Government's long-standing position on this matter. People want to see the Scottish Parliament and the Scottish Government focus on issues that matter to them, not on constitutional division. People across Scotland rightly want and expect to see both their governments and the United Kingdom and the Scottish Government working together with the relentless focus on the issues that matter to them, their families and their communities. The Prime Minister has been very clear and has demonstrated since day one that it is our duty to work constructively with the Scottish Government. We fully respect the devolution settlement and we want to work together with the Scottish Government on vital areas like tackling the cost of living, growing our economy and leading the international response to Russia's illegal war in Ukraine. At this time of unprecedented challenges, the benefits of being part of the United Kingdom have never been more apparent. Never been more apparent. Mr Speaker, the United Kingdom Government is providing the Scottish Government with a record block grant settlement of £41 billion per year over the next 3 years. And the people in Scotland are benefiting from unprecedented cost of living support announced by this Prime Minister and our Chancellor. It is important now that we move on from constitutional issues to focus on tackling our shared challenges. I therefore welcome the Supreme Court judgment and I call on the Scottish Government to set aside these divisive constitutional issues so that we can work together, focusing all of our attention and resources on the key issues that matter to the people of Scotland. Mr Speaker, the United Kingdom Government is proud of its role as the custodian of the devolution settlement. The United Kingdom is one of the most successful political and economic unions in the world. By promoting and protecting its combined strengths, we are building on hundreds of years of partnership and shared history. And, Mr Speaker, I'd conclude by saying that when we work together as one United Kingdom, we are safer, stronger and more prosperous.
Ian Black.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, and thank you for granting this urgent question. It is right that the UK Government answers questions today and answers them quickly, because this morning the Supreme Court dealt with a question of law. There is now a massive question of democracy.
Hear, hear.
Some of the Westminster parties are already widely celebrating this morning's decision, but I think it's safe to say that their thoughtless triumphalism won't last very long. Because this judgment raises profound and deeply uncomfortable questions about the basis of the future of the United Kingdom. The biggest question of all is how the Prime Minister can ever again repeat the myth that the United Kingdom is a voluntary union of nations. In 2014, the Smith Commission made it clear that, and I quote, "Nothing in its report prevented Scotland becoming an independent country should the people of Scotland so choose." If that is true, if his government is still committed to that promise, will he urgently amend the Scotland Act to ensure that the Scottish people have the right to choose our own future? If he fails to do that, is he deliberately choosing to deny democracy? Because a so-called partnership in which one partner is denied the right to choose a different future, or even itself to ask the question, cannot be described in any way as a voluntary or even a partnership at all. Mr Speaker, what today's decision does is cast focus on the democratic decisions of the Scottish people. Since 2014, the SNP has won 8 elections in a row. We have secured multiple mandates. The question is, how many times do people in Scotland have to vote for a referendum before they get it? The more contempt the Westminster establishment shows for Scottish democracy, the more certain it is that Scotland will vote yes when the choice does come to be made.
Absolutely.
Because Scotland didn't vote for Brexit. We didn't vote for the new age of Tory austerity. We didn't vote for this Prime Minister. And we haven't voted for the Tories in Scotland since 1955. What we did vote for was the choice of a different future. If Westminster keeps blocking our democratic decisions, lawfully and democratically, Scotland will find a way out of this union.
Mr. Speaker, I would raise a couple of points to the Honourable. This idea that there was a mandate delivered in 2021 in the Holyrood elections is completely misleading. As the First Minister herself said in an interview in the Herald, that parties, and this is when she thought that the former First Minister, their leader, previous leader Alex Salmond, was gaming the system with his party Alba. She very clearly said that parties should stand on both the list and first past the post constituency system, and the Greens did not fulfil that. Neither did Alba. So let's be clear: in the 22 Holyrood elections, the so-called mandate, less than 1/3 of the Scottish electorate voted for the SNP.